It's been a very long wait for Pikmin 4, but it's finally here. And since Nintendo recently remastered Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 for the Switch, every mainline Pikmin game is now available to play on the Nintendo Switch. So I figured, hey, since every game is now very easily accessible, let's answer the question and determine which Pikmin game is the best in the series. I'm going to be talking specifically about the Switch versions of each game, and I'm not going to be talking about Hey Pikmin today, since it's a spin-off game. Now, let's crash land onto the Pikmin planet and start talking about Pikmin. Story. Let's start by looking at the story of each game and figuring out which game has the best one overall. In Pikmin 1, you play as Captain Olimar, who has unfortunately crash landed his ship, the SS Dolphin, on a mysterious planet inhabited by strange little creatures. After Olimar finds and interacts with these creatures, he decides to name them Pikmin, because their appearance is very similar to Pick carrots that can be found back on Olimar's home planet. Olimar discovers that the Pikmin will follow his commands, so with the Pikmin's help, Olimar can attempt to locate the missing pieces of the SS Dolphin that have been scattered around the planet. The twist, however, is that Olimar only has 30 days to do this, otherwise his life support will run out and he will die. The story of Pikmin 2 takes place right after the events of Pikmin 1. Olimar returns to his home planet to discover that the company he works for, the Hocotate Fright Company, is severely in debt. So in an attempt to save the company, Olimar and his co-worker Louis set out on a mission to return to the same mysterious Pikmin planet from the first game to collect a bunch of treasure. They need to find a suitable amount of treasure worth 10,000 Pocos in value to get their company out of debt. The lore in these Pikmin games is so weird, man, I swear to God. And it keeps getting weirder in Pikmin 3. In this game, you follow the story of three explorers, Alf, Brittany and Charlie. They are on a mission to find and bring food back for their home planet named Planet Kopai, due to their planet suffering from a food shortage due to a booming population, booming appetite and a basic lack of planning. The three explorers head towards the Pikmin planet, which has now officially been given the name Planet PNF 404, to search for food. Now, in Pikmin 4, Captain Olimar returns to visit Planet PNF 404, but has unfortunately crash landed on the planet again. The Rescue Corps were then sent out to go and rescue Olimar, however they weren't very helpful, as they also ended up crash landing on the planet. What's up with everyone crash landing spaceships in the Pikmin universe? So your player character, the newest member of the Rescue Corps, is sent out on a mission to rescue Olimar and the other stranded Rescue Corps members. That's the main plot of each game. So which story is the best? Well, I'm going to rule out Pikmin 1, as the story overall feels quite simple compared to the other games. And I'm also going to rule out Pikmin 4, because I'm not the biggest fan of the concept for this story. Olimar crash lands on a planet. Oh no, quick, send out a rescue team to go and save Olimar. The whole of the rescue team also crash lands on the planet. Like, why? So that leaves us with Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And out of those two games, I'm going to give it to Pikmin 3 Deluxe. The main concept of Pikmin 2 is saving a company from bankruptcy. But in Pikmin 3, you are saving the whole population of a planet from dying of food starvation. And the stakes feel much higher in this game. The Deluxe version of Pikmin 3 also introduces some more story content in the form of a prologue and epilogue, showing what happened to Olimar and Louis before and after the main events of Pikmin 3, which is very cool stuff to see. So Pikmin 3 Deluxe wins our first category and takes home the award for Best Story. Pikmin. In each of the games, you'll be controlling a human character while finding Pikmin and commanding them to help you navigate the planet. The Pikmin can be used to help pick up items, knock down barriers, solve puzzles, and for fighting enemies. There are a variety of Pikmin types in each game, so let's talk about each Pikmin type, what Pikmin appear in each game, and which game overall has the best Pikmin in them. In the first game, Pikmin 1, you will come across three main types of Pikmin. The first is Red Pikmin, which have a 1.5 times attack power and are fireproof. The second is Yellow Pikmin, which can carry bomb rocks and be thrown a little bit further compared to other Pikmin. And finally, Blue Pikmin, which can survive in water and save drowning Pikmin. In Pikmin 2, these three Pikmin types return along with two new additional types. White Pikmin are the first type introduced, and these Pikmin are immune to poison, can poison enemies when eaten, and are the only Pikmin within Pikmin 2 that can discover hidden treasure beneath the dirt. The other new Pikmin type introduced are the Purple Pikmin, and these boys are OP. Purple Pikmin count as 10 Pikmin when carrying an item, have a 2 times attack multiplier, can stun enemies, and can withstand more damage than other Pikmin types. Purples are basically just Pikmins on steroids, and are easily the best Pikmin within Pikmin 2. Before we move on to Pikmin 3 Deluxe, I'd like to quickly mention how Yellow Pikmin got buffed in Pikmin 2, as they are now immune to electricity. A very cool change which makes Yellow Pikmin a lot more useful in this game and in every other game going forward. On to Pikmin 3 Deluxe now, now, where red, yellows and blues once again all return, along with the white and purple Pikmin. However, whites and purples can't be found within the game's main campaign mode. They can instead only be found within the game's other extra modes, such as mission mode and the multiplayer bingo battle mode, which is a bit unfortunate. 2 new Pikmin types have, however, been introduced in this game, and you will be coming across both of these new Pikmin types in the main campaign mode. The first is Rock Pikmin, which have a stronger attack power than Red Pikmin, and they are the only Pikmin type that can shatter crystals and crystal walls, making these rock boys incredibly useful. The other new type of Pikmin introduced is Winged Pikmin, which are pink Pikmin that can fly. Who would have guessed, eh? Since Winged Pikmin can fly, they can hover over enemies, keeping themselves safe from danger, and they can fly over water and even pick up items in the water as long as they aren't completely submerged. Both rock and winged Pikmin are essential Pikmin to have within your Pikmin cult. Finally, we have Pikmin 4, and I'm glad to say that all the main Pikmin types in the previous 3 games return, and can all be found in this game's campaign mode. Along with the 7 types of returning Pikmin, 2 more Pikmin types join the roster. Ice Pikmin, which can freeze enemies and large bodies of water, and Glow Pikmin, which are Pikmin that can only be found and used during nighttime expeditions. This makes for a total of 9 different Pikmin types that you'll encounter within Pikmin 4, and due to Pikmin 4 having the most variety of Pikmin types in its game, it's safe to say that Pikmin 4 easily wins the Pikmin category. Gameplay. I've touched a little bit already on the basic gameplay mechanics in the Pikmin games. You basically find and command Pikmin in order to navigate the planet you are on to find various items. The items you are looking for, though, depends on what game you are playing. In Pikmin 1, you're looking for 30 ship pieces to repair Olimar's spaceship. In Pikmin 2, you'll be hunting down different items of treasure. In Pikmin 3, you will mainly be scouting out food, and in Pikmin 4, you are searching for castaways of the Rescue Corps team, as well as Olimar. That's the general gist of each Pikmin game, but due to some smaller gameplay differences in each game, all 4 Pikmin games feel fairly different to play, and they all stand out from one another. So let's dive a little deeper and talk about how the gameplay of the Pikmin games has evolved during the series, and then determine which game has the best gameplay overall. First, I want to start by talking about the limited time mechanic within Pikmin 1. I've mentioned already that Olimar only has 30 days until his life support machine runs out. That 30-day time limit means you have to work fairly quickly to collect all the missing pieces of the SS Dolphin before Olimar's life support runs out. I will say though that the time limit is quite generous, with each in-game day lasting about 15 minutes, so there is no need to stress about it too much. In Pikmin 2, that 30-day time limit is gone, and instead you have as long as you need to collect all the treasure you require. The removal of the 30-day time limit can be seen as either a good or bad thing, depending on how you look at it. Good because it takes off a lot of stress from the player to rush and try to find everything, and it instead encourages players to take their time to explore the planet. But also bad as it removes a huge portion of the challenge that the original Pikmin game had. Pikmin 3, however, does something quite clever as it reintroduces a time pressure in the game, but the amount of time you have depends on the amount of food you find. That food comes in the form of fruit, and every time you bring some fruit back to the ship, it will get converted into juice. Why do you need juice? Well, after each day of exploring the planet, your crewmates will drink 1 jar of juice to survive the next day. So the amount of days you have left to survive corresponds to the amount of juices you have. I really like this system as it encourages players to go out of their way to look for fruit, while also adding a little bit of time pressure just to make sure players are making the most of their time and being efficient as possible when exploring. I would have liked Pikmin 4 to keep this same system, however in Pikmin 4 we are back to the Pikmin 2 ways where you have an unlimited amount of time with no time pressure, which is a bit of a bummer to be honest. Speaking of Pikmin 2, let's focus our attention on that game, since Pikmin 2 introduced lots of major changes to the gameplay that have been carried forward into later games. The first is the introduction of caves that lurk underneath the planet's surface. The time of day does not pass in caves, and each floor is randomly generated every time you enter it. A lot of treasure can be found within caves, so a lot of time will be spent within them. Caves return again in Pikmin 4, with the only difference being that their layout is not randomly generated, since there is a much bigger emphasis on puzzle solving within the caves in Pikmin 4. The final big change in Pikmin 2 is that you now have control over 2 characters, Olimar and Louie, and you can juggle between which one you control at any time. This means you can separate your big Pikmin cult into 2 smaller groups, and you might have already guessed, but since there are 3 playable characters in Pikmin 3, you can have up to 3 separate Pikmin groups in that game. Doing this can make moving around areas, fighting enemies and collecting treasure way more efficient. I did tend to find, however, when playing in Pikmin 2 and 3, that I much preferred to keep everyone together in one giant group. Now, let's talk about Pikmin 4, as that game brought to the table a lot of changes to the gameplay formula that are all really good. The main new feature of Pikmin 4 is the addition of Oatchi. the rescue pup, and my good cute boy. Ochi can carry items of Pikmin, smash obstacles, attack enemies, and take you and your Pikmin across large bodies of water. Ochi can even sniff out treasure for you. Such a good doggo, I love him. Another new feature is the introduction of Dandori battles. You encounter these battles when you find a castaway who's being held hostage by some strange creature that looks half Pikmin and half human, who also looks suspiciously like Olimar. In these battles, your objective is to use your Pikmin and Ochi effectively to collect more items than your opponent. Winning these battles will allow you to rescue the castaway. The final big new feature, and probably the biggest new feature of Pikmin 4, is that now you can go on night expeditions. It's very dangerous going on night expeditions though, as you will quickly discover that nighttime sends enemies into a frenzy. Thankfully, the new glow Pikmin can be used to help navigate the dark, and they can attack enemies trying to cause you any trouble in the night. So I've talked in depth about the gameplay in all 4 Pikmin games, so it's time to crown our winner for which game has the best gameplay in the series. And in my opinion, I'm going to give the win to Pikmin 4. Although Pikmin 4 does not really have any sense of time pressure present in the game, and the co-op in the story mode is complete dog shit, that game brought to the table fantastic new features such as Ochi and nighttime expeditions, which I hope both return in future Pikmin games. Also, the return of caves was another great thing to see reintroduced into Pikmin 4. It may not be the most challenging game in the series, but it is, in my opinion, the most fun one. So it's why I think Pikmin 4 has the best gameplay in the series. Stages and environments. Now that we've concluded which game plays the best, let's turn our attention to which game looks the best. I think it's already quite obvious which game will win this category, so I'll speed through this quickly. Pikmin 1 has 5 main different areas in its game, and I don't think each area looks that distinct from one another. Maybe I'm being a little harsh because we should take into account that this is a game released all the way back in 2001. This game is older than me. That's a mad thought. Pikmin 2 has 4 main areas and a bunch of different caves to explore. The environments may not be the prettiest, but there is much more variety here than in the first game. We have got a grassy garden, a breezy autumn forest, and a cool snowy area. I also love the atmosphere the caves give off in this game. Although the cave areas are unfortunately absent within Pikmin 3, we got 5 lovely environments to run around in and explore, such as the Garden of Hope and the Twilight River. And if you thought the environments in Pikmin 3 Deluxe couldn't get any more detailed, then take a look at Pikmin 4. The environments are all stunning and beautifully detailed, from the gardens to the sand castles to the deep dark caves, and my personal favourite, the giant house area. I would even go as far to say that Pikmin 4 is one of the best looking games on the Switch. I should also mention that the levels in Pikmin 4 feel massive compared to the other games, and there is so much more to explore within these levels, so it won't be a surprise for me to say that Pikmin 4 very comfortably wins the stages and environments category. Characters. The Pikmin series doesn't have that many main characters, but each character is incredibly charming, quirky, and likeable. Pikmin 1 introduced us to Olimar. Olimar is the only main human character you will come across in Pikmin 1, and he is an incredibly kind and caring person who is also dedicated to his family, which I think is really sweet. Pikmin 2 introduced Louis, who is a lot more careless than Olimar, and he's partially responsible for why the Hocotate Fright Company got into debt, as well as the President. Yes, they are actually just referred to as the President and nothing else. The President is the one in charge of the Hocotate Fright Company, and he is the one who sends out Olimar and Louis to go find treasure in order to save the company from debt. Pikmin 3 introduces us to 3 main new protagonists, Alf, Brittany, and Charlie, who are the 3 explorers sent out on a mission to secure food for their starving planet. Alf is an engineer and an overall very positive and confident character. Brittany is a biologist responsible for keeping track of the Pikmin planet's fruit and for creating juices for the crew. And Charlie is the main leader of the crew, who is very protective of his crewmates, and he has a lot of knowledge about ducks. Now, something cool about Pikmin 4 is that there isn't a set main character in Pikmin 4, and instead you get to create your own character to play as. This is an excellent new addition, and I hope they keep this feature in future Pikmin games. Pikmin 4 also introduces us to the Rescue Corps, which is a team made up of 6 human individuals, and my good lovable boy Ochi. Pikmin 4 may have the most characters in its game, but it doesn't feel like they have been given as much of a personality as the characters in the previous games, with the exception of Ochi of course, which leaves me with a bit of a tricky decision. Do I give the award for the best characters to the game with the most characters, or to the game with the best quality characters in them? And I'm sorry sorry Ochi, it was a tough decision, but I'm gonna have to go with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I love the 3 protagonist characters in Pikmin 3. They all have great personalities, and their personalities shine through even further when the 3 characters interact with each other. It's small things like how Brittany will sometimes refer to Alf as Alfie in an affectionate way, and how Alfie will look up to Charlie as a big inspiration and huge role model. It's small moments like these that really make me love these 3 characters, and it's why I think Pikmin 3 Deluxe has the best characters. Soundtrack. Yeah, that's right, it's my favourite time of the video where I get to talk about video game soundtracks, and I adore the music across the Pikmin series. Whether it's the calm tracks that play when exploring the Pikmin planet, or the more intense tracks when fighting a boss. It's going to be pretty tricky to pick a winner for this category, but to keep things nice and short, I'll give you a blast of a couple of my favourite tracks from across the series, and then I'll decide which game is the overall winner for this category. So starting with Pikmin 1, we have the song currently playing in the background, The Forest Navel. And also from Pikmin 1 is The Forest of Hope, which I think is one of the most memorable tracks from across the series. Moving on to Pikmin 2, we have the boss battle theme, a really intense track that gets you into the zone when fighting a boss. On to Pikmin 3 now, where we have another epic piece of music from the Plasm Wrath battle. And we also have to appreciate Charlie's theme. The track is only about 40 seconds long, but it's a bop. Finally, from Pikmin 4, we have the title screen music, which is a nice piano piece that is just really relaxing to listen to. So those are some of my favourite tracks from across the series. But we can only have one game be the winner, and the game that I think has the best soundtrack is Pikmin 1. When I want to listen to music from the Pikmin series, I always gravitate towards the Pikmin 1 soundtrack. There's so many other tracks I love from that game I haven't mentioned yet, like the Impact Site, the Distant Spring, and the World Map theme, just to name a few. So Pikmin 1 wins best soundtrack. Runtime. For our last category, let's take a look at how long it takes to complete each game. From one of my favourite websites, howlongtobeat.com, Pikmin 1 takes about 8 to 9 hours to complete. Pikmin 2 takes roughly 11.5 hours to beat the main campaign, while 100%ing it will take roughly 26.5 hours. Pikmin 3 Deluxe's main campaign mode is surprisingly a little bit shorter than Pikmin 2's, clocking in at around 10 hours, but to 100% that game it's going to take 27.5 hours. Now Pikmin 4 has only been out a couple of days from the recording of this video, so I don't have some proper reliable stats yet on how long it takes to complete the game. However, from taking a look at reviews, this is apparently the longest Pikmin game in the series by far, with it estimating to take around 15 to 20 hours to beat the main story, and over 30 hours to 100% the game, thanks to the end game content you unlock after reaching the game's credits. So it's a clear win for Pikmin 4 in the runtime category. So I've talked in depth about all 4 Pikmin games, so it's time to crown our winner for which game is the best in the series. Pikmin 1 won the award for best soundtrack, Pikmin 3 Deluxe won the award for best story and characters, but our overall winner, taking home the most awards including best gameplay, Pikmin, stages and environments, and runtime, is Pikmin 4. I think that means we can safely say that the very long wait for this game was definitely worth it. If you haven't played any of the Pikmin games before, I highly recommend you go check them all out. But if you only have the time and money to play through one Pikmin game, then make it Pikmin 4, as it's the best game in the series. Now the question is, do you agree with me? Let me know what your favourite Pikmin game is down in the comments below, and make sure to purchase a billboard in Times Square to tell people to subscribe to the Olli K YouTube channel, and tell them to watch this video where I settled the debate on which Bayonetta game is the best in the series. And yeah, if you didn't know by the way, Pikmin fans have been paying to advertise Pikmin 4 on billboards in Times Square. Being a Pikmin fan feels like I'm in a cool cult, and I love it.